Hey, yo, what it is and what's good, y'all? Welcome back to H8te Plus, the social media podcast where I take the conversations off the timeline and go beyond the tweets. I'm your host, Lowe's Def, and I'm back here for episode 152. I'm back for episode 152. And if you're new to the channel, I'd like if you could hit the subscribe button, if you get the like button. If you know somebody that might like the content, hit that share button. If you got something to say, leave a comment. Right? Let's have this channel grow and continue to prosper and all good stuff, man. So today we are solo again, and we're rocking out, man. And we're in the midst of the playoffs or the midst of the NBA finals, and wow, like it's off to a start that I didn't quite expect. But I'm happy about right now at the time being. But today, man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're getting into some social media things. We're gonna share a viral video and probably make some analogies about some things. I had some I kind of wanted to sound off about because I feel there's certain things on social media, because again, taking these conversations off the timelines, there's certain conversations on social media that are happening, and I gotta this one particular thing is getting under my skin. No pun intended. It's getting under my skin. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about Caitlin Clark and her apparent Olympic snub, and you're gonna hear my take on that and see where you can already see my affect, how I feel about that. And man, we're gonna talk a little bit about why Will Smith is the GOAT. Why Will Smith is the GOAT. And then we might just throw in one other little thing in here for a second, but let's get going. Hold on, one real quick, yeah. Just I make sure I have that in there. Okay, all right. So man, here's the thing, man. I love one thing I do love about social media is that like you just see all types of content that you just wouldn't see, and a lot of times it's just quick stuff. And I like these people that do these like challenges, and even though in the moment it's about one thing, but a lot of times these little challenges are really analogies to bigger things. And I seen somebody's take on it, and then I really was like, that's kind of what that is right there. That kind of what that is. And some people made just jokes about the incident and what happened, and they just take it for face value. But like when you really dig into it, it kind of speaks to society. A lot of things that we do speak to like bigger society and kind of the temperature and what's kind of going on. So today we're gonna start off with sharing a video about again about society, and it's just a little game. But then what does this tell us about this game? But here's the thing, man. If I would ever go into one of these grocery stores and like somebody's like giving me money and things like that, and I win money, and it's like it's a nice windfall, a couple $100, I think I'm just gonna take the money. I'm not gonna be greedy and like gamble it. I'm not a gambler myself. I don't know how y'all be doing them parlays all day. I might get into it one day. Just because like this is how it is. Like I am very resistant to peer pressure, so to speak. But then after a while, I'll be like, "Ugh." It don't even be peer pressure no more. It'd be societal pressure. And then it's like I do succumb to societal pressure sometimes. Like it's like, all right, guess I might as well. But if it's just like a couple people, I'll be like, nah, I'm cool. Oh, no, I'm cool. But then when it's like when the world kind of collapses and that's just what it is, I do it. So I don't do any sports betting, but I know everybody does. But again, that's just how I am with it. I'm a little tight with my stuff, But I guess people be winning. I think people be sharing their wins. They don't really be sharing all their losses. But yeah, let's share a little video here. And tell me what you think, and also I'm gonna tell you what it was derived from this, and then kind of do it if I think this is true or not. So let's take a look at this, right? So this is a little video here. Let's pull this down here in the bottom. All right, and we're gonna share the sound here for y'all so y'all can hear it. Okay, and then it says optimize. We're gonna optimize this for video clip. All right. So take a look here. All right. So you got three women, all right. Different ages, different backgrounds, all right, and then you got five loaves of bread here. So what could this challenge possibly be? What could this challenge be? So let's take a look here.
Pick a bread, win a prize. Go for it. That one. Whoa! Look at that. What'd you get? How much you get?
Can I keep it?
Yeah, you can keep it. That's yours. It's 200. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. Move this bread out of the way. Okay, this one's already got. You gonna go for one? What'd you get?
100.
100. You get to keep that. Okay. Okay.
So time out. Did y'all notice how overzealous that little white lady was in the beginning? Like how she kind of just bum rushed back past everybody. Let's rewind that real quick. Hold up. Let's watch this. He barely starts talking.
Pick a bread, win a prize. Go for it. That one. Whoa!
Take a bread, win a prize. She damn near pushed them out the way. Look at that. Look at that, John. Look. She's behind them. Look, she's behind them, right here. She's behind them. And then look, she brushes past the black lady. Look at this.
Pick a bread, win a prize. Go for it. That one. Whoa!
Oh, and pretty much knocked the other lady out the frame. So she said, "Oh, pick a bread, take a prize." So that's that Karen work right there. You know what I mean? They just be doing too much. They be doing way too much. So let's keep a look. Let's keep looking.
Look at that. What'd you get? How much you get?
Can I keep it?
Yeah, you can keep it. That's yours. It's 200. Yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah, yeah. Move this bread out of the way. Okay, this one's already got. You gonna go for one? What'd you get?
100.
100. You get to keep that. Okay. Okay. You haven't gone now. They just got 200 here, and then 100 there. So pick any other one of these that you would like.
I'm gonna try this.
That one. What's under there? How much is that? $300. Look at that. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. So notice this. The black lady, she got the most money of all of them. Right? She got the 300. All right. So let's see what happens here. Let's see what happens.
Okay. Now here's the thing. Wait. We're not finished yet. There's two pieces of bread here. There's two more. There's 1 and 2. Now you just went right.
Right.
So stand right over here. Stand right here. Now how much did you get the first time
I
around?
got 200.
200. Now here's the thing. Now you could either keep that or you could forfeit it for a chance to win more. Do you want to keep it or forfeit?
I'm gonna keep it.
You're gonna
I need
keep
the
it?
money.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it. I need the money. All right. So boom. First person, $200. Yes, I'm keeping that too.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so then you went second, right?
Yes.
How much did you get?
I got 100.
You got 100. So do you want to keep that or do you want to forfeit? That's up to you.
I think I'm gonna keep.
You're gonna keep that. Could be less on.
She's grateful. She's grateful because it could be less, right? So she's I'm gonna keep it, right? All right. So let's look at this last lady, right? And
Yeah, that's-
before you judge this lady, before you judge this last lady, pay attention to her surroundings. Pay attention.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
So
I'm
yeah.
gonna
So,
keep
okay,
that
so
in
you're up
case
now.
I
How
can-
much did you just get?
300.
300. So you want?
300. I got the most. I got somebody I got two people that got less than me. They forfeited, or no, they decided to keep the money, right? So if I got more than both of these bitches, like I'm thinking in my head, like I probably would just walk away as well. But watch this. Watch what happens.
Want to keep that or do you want to forfeit it?
Forfeit. You don't need the
You
money.
want to forfeit? Okay.
Oh, wow.
Forfeited, you don't need the money. How do you time out, lady Karen? Why you think you can count my pockets? What are you talking about? I don't need the money. What are you talking about? And y'all might think that's playful, but like, why? Who are you? Like, get out of here, Karen.
You gonna forfeit? Okay. So
I'm a forfeit. See how easy that was? She forfeited.
this goes away. Now here's the thing. There's two pieces of bread left. Now here's the thing. You could either pick the one on the end or the one in the middle. Which one do you want to get?
Look at this. Look at this. She can't even think. She's not even thinking for herself. She looking for suggestions because she already gave up her power, right? She already gave up her autonomy when she forfeited because she let people in her head, right?
It's up to you.
I'll try it again.
She didn't even pick that one. The other lady picked that one, right? So that's what happened.
Okay, how much is there? What is
I
that?
should've kept my money.
Is it
should've
20?
kept my money.
Okay.
$20.
Okay. Next person. Who's up next? Who's up? Pick a bread.
All
Win
right. Now, all right. So let's dig into this, right? So I try to do some play by play. I try to give you a little bit of, you know what I mean, pause in between there and stuff. So the one of the first comments I seen that how it reached me, it was like, oh, see, that's what she gets for being greedy, which yes, you're right. You're right. On the surface, you are right about that. That is what she gets about, for being greedy. So, but then when we dig in a little bit deeper, right, it's like just this is just and again, this we're gonna talk about women, we're gonna talk about nature, right? Just how society works. All right, so a lot of times, women they don't always think for themselves, right? So this could be an analogy in the sense of like, see, this is what happens when you listening to your bro friends, or when you listening to advice from people that ain't living what you living, right? So you get these two ladies, they won money, they already won money, right? And they're telling you not to take the money. They're telling you to forfeit the money, right? So that's the same thing, right? You might have a friend that is like living a single life. Um, they might be living a single life, and then you're in a happy marriage and you're in a happy relationship, and then they're telling you to do things that, what I mean, that just don't match. Or they could be in a relationship, right? They could be in a happy relationship, and like you're kind of struggling, and then they might tell you to break up with somebody, and it's like, well, that's not even what you did, so what are you talking about? So again, it's just that idea of like, do people think for themselves? How easily influenced are you, right? Unfortunately, because again, she gave up her autonomy when she let the older lady gas her up and say, "Oh, you don't need the money. You don't need the money." And then this other lady really picked the loaf of bread. She said, "I would pick the end." All right, I'm gonna pick the end. All right, group thing. Notice how nobody chimed in when the older lady took hers, right? And then when the second lady took hers, nobody coaxed her and then motivated her and told her what to do. But then they was all focused on the last lady, on the black lady, right? So that's, it's like, think about that. Think about in society. Think about how easily are you influenced and pressured by the people around you. And then also you got to be mindful of the people around you, right? Don't have people convince you to take risks that they wasn't willing to take. Okay, so that's one thing. But then I seen another take and I was like, wow. And they said this is a visual analogy of feminism and how it affected black women in the black community, right? So we think about the feminist movement, right? So it's about like not what we talking about today and how we've warped it, right? Like feminism has always been about like, you know equal rights, right? So for women, so being able to do things that men could do, not necessarily like, it's not necessarily supposed to be hating men or anything like that, but just like, and black women weren't necessarily welcome to the party. When you think about the suffragettes back in, the 20s and stuff like that, like bl- black women weren't a part of that. All right, that wasn't their struggle. And then so then the feminist movement, right? You have it, and then once they started to co-opt black women, right? Then the feminist movement kind of, it became, at least socially, it became this like man hating thing, right? And then you got other governmental laws and things going into place, like, you got welfare going into place, you got uh basically the prison pipeline started to, people started getting incarcerated. They were incentivizing black women to basically be single mothers, right? And but think about this, right? At one point in time, the black community was the most married. Like we had an 80% success rate in marriage. But then once like women were incentivized to kind of be single, and they were getting welfare and they're getting money and things like that. And or you have these women talking about, hey, you should fight for join our movement, and fight for equal rights and fight for jobs and fight for this and fight for that. And then it was like, you know maybe you're saying that because you're not actually getting what you want, right? You're telling these black women are happy, right? Back in the day, they was happy. They had what they needed. They had everything. that they needed. They were fine. They were content, right? But then it's like you let some people get in your ear and it's like, hey, but what about? Did you ever think about this? Why don't you take this risk? Even though it's like, no, I'm actually in a better position than you, right? I'm in a better position than you. So why would I listen to you? Well, you listen to them, and then you get the short end of the stick. And right now, that's how black women are talking. Like black women feel like they got the short end of the stick when it comes to, relationships and marriage and things like that. And now we're thinking about it, it's like, well, why can't we be, more like this aspect of society? Or why can't we emulate or do things that this group in society is doing, when back in the day we had it all figured out, and then we started wanting the ideals and materials that other groups of people wanted, and then now we're we can't get right. So I don't know, that's I just thought that was very eye-opening. I thought that was very eye-opening, and very interesting, very interesting. So that's one thing that I wanted to share on Twitter. Another thing that I wanted to share on Twitter, and we don't have to show you this on the screen, but and I'll just probably read through a couple of these and see where we land here, because I think some of these are funny. So it says here, it's a thread. It says, okay, white people, ask black people one question you always wanted to know. So it's a thread of a bunch of like random black questions. All right. So this is like white people asking black people questions. So it says here, it says here's one. Here's one. This is a good one. Says, why can't you guys wrap up a conversation? You have a chat, then both start walking away and shout at each other from hundreds of meters away. And the best part is you still follow the conversation at this point. Like how? So yeah, he's like, all right, yo, bro, yo, I know that feeling, right? Like I used to do this all the time. You'd be at like a park or something like that with your homeboys. And this is when you're younger too, and you're just like you're walking away and you just like, yo, hey, yo, I'll talk to you when the next time. Hey, yo, make sure you got my, yo, make sure next time I see you, yo, you bring my money over there. Hey, yo, that's crazy, yo. Like, and you're just shouting and things like that. Barely saying anything, but it's like a full conversation. I like that. I like that. Let's see. What what secret makes you all so damn stylishly dressed the whole time? Like no matter what, in the street, dude looks fresh at the mall, ladies got it down. No matter what I do, I still look like my mom dressed me. Well, and that so to explain that, that's easy. It's because as black people, right, we always feel like we have to look a certain way. We always had to be presentable, right? Like because just and that's kind of deep rooted, right? Like that's ingrained in us to kind of look presentable and look our best. Now, some people have deviated from that and they just be like, I don't care, right? But no, it's like we always want to be fly and fresh and things like that. And sometimes it's one that's it's ingrained in us to always look our best because like we were always judged. But also too, it's a way to kind of exude a certain status, right? So again, you might see people that live in the projects or live in, like subsidized housing. They might even be doubling up with people, but then and so they don't have good finances. They don't even have a solid roof over the head, or it's subsidized housing of some sort. But then they got all the freshest clothes. Well, it's because it's like we were conditioned to believe that like clothes and name brands and materials show a certain status. So like yes, that's why like the kid that comes from, low poverty, they still might get all the new Jordans because if one thing we're gonna do is we're gonna send our kids to school looking presentable because we don't want people to think that we have less, even though we kind of rubbing two pennies together. So that's definitely can be something that's explained. Are you guys born naturally good dancers, or is there some rite of passage that white people don't go through? Well, I think yeah, we just have rhythm. Like we go on the two and the four, y'all go on the one and the three, right? It's like this is, it's like boom, 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 boom. right? That's the two and the four. Like it was a beat and then the clap. White people are on the one and the three. You know what I mean? Like it's like they just y'all too. I don't know what it is. Y'all too hype. Now here's the thing. A lot of times dancing is practice, and it is something that it sometimes it maybe is a rite of passage. Black girls, you learn line dances from your mothers and things like that. Um, if a new dance comes out, I remember in the living room, you're just in your house clothes and something's going on and like you're practicing choreography and things like that. And it's just cool. It's just cool. It's entertaining. It's like you want to be like those people. So that's what that is. There was this really, really good one and I was like, oh snap. This was a good one. Says there's a question I've always wanted to ask. Do you all know each other, or are you just kind and greet everyone? Because it always seems like everyone knows everyone and has a conversation with each other. So yes, when it depends on the setting, but if we are if there's two black people, or if we're in a setting where there's not going to be that many black people, and we see another black person, there is like a solidarity where it's like at the very least you say, "Oh, yo, what's up, brother?" Now here's the thing. Nowadays, because I think some people are very socially like their social awkwardness shows even more in today's society. And so there are people that are like combative to that. And like there's like black people that don't want to be brother, they don't want to be your brother or your sister. Right. They kind of feel like you going out your way to kind of greet them, like it makes it's off-putting to them. So you gotta take with a grain of salt. But like anytime I see older black people like in a grocery store or something like that, and like again, I don't live in the most, my everyday is not always the most diverse. It's that I'm always giving somebody I'm not giving them the white people smile though. No, it's like a warm smile. I'm like, laughing and carrying on. I might say something, might ask something. If you see somebody in public, you see a brother and you got something more and that's looking fly, like you give somebody a compliment. Like that's just how it is. And I think maybe I don't know how white people are. Maybe y'all just mind your business. Maybe that's our problem. We're a little bit too nosy. But again, when you're in spaces where you don't you might not always see uh an abundance of other black people on a daily basis. Not saying you don't see none, but it's like an abundance. It's not like a black city. Then yeah, it's like you go out your way because it's like, all right, we in this together. You know what I'm saying? We might not know each other, but we are sharing a similar experience. Oh shit. Why do you always say that your brother? Oh, damn, this one's messed up. If it is funny. Why do you always say that your brother died and you need to attend his funeral, but it was your neighbor's son's father's third cousin's uncle's nephew, right? Yeah, my dad, oh my God. My dad's been to so many funerals in his lifetime. And like he's definitely dropped different relatives have died that haven't died because I don't know how he be getting bereavement. This is a good one too, though. It says, all right, so here it is. Here it is. It says, why do you have your seats reclined so far back while driving that you can hardly see over the steering wheel? Hey, look, this car has no driver. Oh, never mind. He's sleep driving, right? So I don't know. It's just a cool thing, man. It's about now. Some people do OD. I mean, and it's like there's young when you're a young brother and you recline your chair back, right? You sit to a point where the back cushion, right? You use your elbow to kind of prop you up, right? And then you driving with one hand, right? You drive with the right hand, right? You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's and then when we're stopped, hey, this is part of it too, right? So sometimes, you know what I mean, young brothers and they might be, you might be living a certain lifestyle, you might be making certain transactions. So like, anytime that you need to get low, right? And or cops pass or something like that, it's like, you just lean back, so like they can't necessarily see you, or maybe it's a I don't want to say the ops. I don't want to say you hiding from the ops or anything like that, but yes, it's other reasons, but it's just kind of cool. I don't sit back that far anymore, but I used to have my seat really far back. The only thing it makes it inconvenient for passengers. Like if you have people in your car, you can't. I hate that. That's what I hate. When like you got friends that don't have that social awareness though, where it's like they feel like nah, they can still keep their seat back when it's like, yo, we got four people about to get in this car. And so that means that you cannot you if you ain't used to having passengers in your back seat, well, brother, you cannot act like you don't have passengers in your back seat. Like you gotta accommodate to the people that are in your car now. Can't just be doing what you was doing. This right here says why this one. This is the last one I'm reading. Why do your weddings always start like 3 hours after invite time? Us whiteys are sitting there on our own, and everyone arrives 3 hours later, like they all got a secret message that we missed out on. Now, yes, because black events do not rarely start on time. 3 hours is a little bit. That's a little bit excessive. So like, and for a wedding, I think people are gonna be on mostly on point. So like, um, yeah, that's just a norm. You shouldn't get there early. Like you might want to get there early because you might want to get a seat and it might get crowded, but you don't want to get there too early and then to where you're feeling like that. 3 hours early, that's just funny. But yeah, I've been to some events where it's like, yeah, like like because I might be hosting or part of the event, and then you see like, yeah, you might have a white guest that's been there the whole like long time. Now they leave early though. White people leave early because so that's the give and take. It's the give and take. If you come early, you could leave early. So I don't know. I thought some of those were funny. I think, culture is a funny thing. Black people, we really have our own culture. And it's a beautiful thing. A lot of it's unspoken. And again, blackness is like, being black, it's not even always what you look like. It's how you're raised. It's it is the food that we eat, it's the way that we talk, it's the way that we dress. It's certain things that we value, our morals. Some people, like we do collectively have like a language that we kind of speak to one another, and it's a beautiful thing when things go right. But speaking of, and this is gonna lead into our next topic, all right, and this is what I got a gripe about, man. And I'm confused as to why we going here, and it really, when you really think about it, explains where we're kind of going wrong and like why we have the issues that we have. So, yo, what's with all the light skin hate right now? Like, I feel like there's a lot of light skin hate. Now, colorism is a thing, right? Colorism is a thing, and we're not gonna ignore colorism. And we not, as a light skinned person myself, I'm not gonna cry victim as to like, because I do know that certain, people treat people like black people specifically, they do sometimes get treated based on the tone of their skin, right? So like how much melanin they have, right? There's certain stereotypes that are associated, and a lot of it's all bad. It's all bad. The stereotypes about especially when we talk about the tone of blackness, like it's not something that dark skinned people do or light skinned people do. It's like it's just these weird stereotypes that applied one time and they might apply two times, they might apply to two people. So then people just like they take something and they run with it. Um, and again, I've talked about this in the podcast before, how and because we touched on colorism and things like that, right? So it's crazy because when learning about colorism and realizing like, oh, this was a problem, it didn't always make sense to me because And again, this type of this language, this even this word, like we talking about like maybe in the last decade, like people really start talking about this. Maybe last 50, almost 15 years, maybe. Like it's not something really social media really brought this about where we're talking about it. But it didn't always make sense to me because I'm an 80s baby, 90s raised me. I'm on record in saying, and I remember this, is that in the 90s, yo, dark skinned brothers had it on lock, right? Like maybe, and again, colorism tends to only affect women. It affects women more so than men, but it does, there are still certain stereotypes. But in the 90s, light skinned men were the butt of the joke, right? So think about Kid and Play. Everybody wanted to be Play, nobody wanted to be Kid. Kid was corny, Kid was the nerd. Like that's the easiest analogy because that was it. That's really how society worked, right? Now here's the thing. Nobody, everybody loved Kid though. Like at the end of the day, Kid is still black. He's still a black man. He just was high yellow, but nobody like took away his blackness, so to speak. Nobody criticized him or questioned if he was black. He just high yellow, right? And it's one thing to be the butt of a joke, right? But it's another thing to like now we're getting into like we're getting into weird territory, and any light skinned person that we see, I'm starting to see on social media, you're starting to see people say like, no, they not, no, they not like I'm seeing black people tell, and it might be black people that are biracial mixed, right? They're telling them like, no, they can't call themselves black no more. Like, nah, identify them how they are. They half breeds. Only pure blood should say, should call themselves black and things like that. And I'm thinking like pure bloods. Like, I don't know if that's satire. I don't know if y'all joking on social media, but that's nasty work. Like, why are we doing this? So the reason why I brought this up was because there was a conversation, obviously the NBA finals, right? They brought up that Jason Kidd and Missoula were the first two black coaches, head coaches to coach against each other in the finals since like 1975. And there was from the rip from that, it was like people was like, all this time I was today years old when I learned that Jason Kidd was black. Oh, I didn't know Jason Kidd was black. What you mean Jason Kidd is black? There ain't no way that Jason Kidd is black. And I'm thinking like, time out, time out, time out. How you gonna say how? And then I think I have to wonder this. I gotta maybe wonder like how old some people are, but it's like, how don't you know that Jason Kidd is black? And it's it's funny to say this, but it's like Jason Kidd been black. What do you mean? Like Jason Kidd had like, look, you could see his, like, if we're gonna break down his features, he has a black person's nose. Yeah, I mean he has a, and again, we don't want to get into these features, but like, yeah, he has facial features of a black man. Um, if yes, he's high yellow. He's very high yellow. But if we look at him from back in the day, he has coarse hair. He had the Gumby flat top. That was his hairstyle that he rocked. Yes, he's very very bright, but he's a black man, and people were like, "Oh, well, his mom is white, so yeah, we gotta stop calling him black. He ain't black. Oh, and then they go on to say, oh, he's like Curry, and it's like, wait up, how you gonna say Curry? Curry literally has two black parents, like two separate black parents, and it's like this day and age, I think we're forgetting that like there are black people that are just light skinned as well. Like, granted, there might be something way down the road, like generations that happen, but there. I grew up in a time when there was just light skinned black people, right? That had nothing to do with any interracial whatever. It's just they light skinned. Um, but it's just one of those things where it's like, why are we doing this, right? Because and again, we talking about two head coaches that are black, and then y'all having these weird ass conversations in these comment sections on social media, and it's like y'all don't realize like the NBA is global. You know what I mean? It's a national thing, but it's global, and like y'all are letting people into these conversations. One, it's something that we shouldn't even be divisive over, right? But y'all letting everybody into these conversations. And how do you expect people to take us seriously, right? If all we doing is fighting each other about dumb stuff, right? We're using the tone of our skins to cause more division. Now, granted, we didn't create the system. We didn't create that, right? We didn't create it. We didn't create the distinction, right? What think about the slavery. You had, house Negroes, you have field Negroes. I mean, like we can't change the system, but we don't have to abide and live by it, right? We supposed to be loving each other and accepting each other for who we are, especially people that like have share the same culture with you in all aspects, or in many different aspects, understanding that we not all monoliths, right? There are darker skinned people that act white, is whiter, or don't even identify with half of the things that somebody that might be lighter than them identify with. So it's like, I think we got to get out of that, because I've been seeing that a lot. And then they'll use memes like Rachel Dolezal, and like, don't compare Jason Kidd to no Rachel Dolezal. Rachel Dolezal is a white woman. She's not black at all, and she literally posed as black for some weird warped reason, and she called herself transracial. So like, she admitted that, like, she went from one race, she transformed to another race. It wasn't this, it had nothing to do with anything else but like her own sick mind. So like, don't put that on somebody like Jason Kidd, who ain't do nothing to he ain't do nothing to nobody to be for y'all to be talking like this. But it's like, can't nobody takes that's why nobody takes the black community serious, because we're worried about the wrong things. Like, why are we worried about that? Um I got some weird comments during the, like, obviously the Kendrick and Drake thing, and that might be different because you're gonna say that, well, how Drake was raised. Drake is from Canada. He had eaten, and he has like Jewish ancestry, or Jewish lineage. So it's like he wasn't raised in Black American culture. So like, that's one thing. But then you calling him white boy. Then you got Rick Ross calling him white boy, and then now, but like, people are taking that and they're running with it, and that's totally different, as opposed to somebody that just happens to be lighter. I mean, and even if they do have a white parent, they're black. They're not. Again, then, I mean, not accepted. They're not accepted fully by white people, and what I mean. You would think that we share that struggle at the very least, to where it's like, all right, we're not accepted fully by white people, but like, we should be accepted from our own, though. I mean, I don't know, man. Don't ever question me. If don't ever, I don't. I mean, that's the thing. I don't entertain it. I don't entertain conversations like that on the internet, because I'm not about to be online and being like, you can't tell me I'm not black because this relative and how I, like, I'm not explaining my life to nobody on the internet that they don't know me. Now, if we have a dialogue and you curious and things like that, sure. But like, nothing about me, nothing about me exudes, I would say, non-blackness. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm educated. I'm articulate. I could speak very elevated if I want to, in certain settings, in certain instances. But like, yeah, you can't pull my card. You can't pull my card. There's no way you can pull my card. But I'm seeing that a lot, and I worry about like future generations, and like how certain stereotypes and things like that permeate. And it's like, it's us, we're keeping some of this stuff alive, and we should not be moving like that. All right, so that's down now. I need the light skin hate to calm down and chill out. And I get, yeah, sure, we had Drake and Kendrick. There's some other goofy things that happen out there, but like, let's get serious for once, and let's stop talking about that light skin dark skin stuff. All right, man. NBA Finals talk. NBA Finals talk. All right. We got a couple. We just got a couple more topics, and then we're out of here. So, wow, the NBA Finals, yo. So I came in. I said that the Celtics were going to win in 6 games. As of right now, as of this recording, the Celtics are up 2-0. So game three is in Dallas, and it is a must-win game for Dallas, right? So they always say that a series doesn't start until somebody wins on the road, right? So although this is a must-win for Dallas, it is a must-win for Dallas. It would be a statement. It would be a true statement for Boston to get a win. Now they can lose the next two games. They can like that you can like but if they want to keep their foot on Dallas's neck, then they need to win this game. So here's the thing. If they lose game 3 and they win game 4, it will go to 6. It will end up in 6 games. I feel like it will, because it would be like one of them like just back and forth type deals. But like if they go up 3-0, it's probably ending in 5. I mean, if they go up 3-0, it's ending in 5. If the tied if they go to 2-1, then even though Boston can afford to lose game 4, it kind of game 4 kind of becomes like must win. Like the pressure goes back onto Boston, because it's like, all right, I mean, you don't want to just be the team that only wins home games, because I mean, you mess around with a team and they get hot, that you don't want them to win multiple games in a row. Now, if you're saying, if you're somebody that says Mavericks in 6, if you're sticking with that, you're basically saying that now the Mavericks are gonna sweep the Boston Celtics, right? And I don't think anybody sees that coming. Now, let's kind of talk about some of these games a little bit, and just the nature of what's going on in the playoffs, or what's going on in these finals. So, game 1 was the Porzingis game, man. So game 1, it was a blowout. It was a blowout, and Boston showed right away that they have a lot of weapons. They showed right away that they got a lot of firepower, and that they can beat you at in a lot of different areas, right? And it was a game that Jason Tatum didn't have his best game, but he was rebounding well. He probably had like 16 points or something like that. It wasn't like a 25-point game, right? It's below his postseason average, right? His point totals have been below his postseason average. But you got a guy like Porzingis go off. You had Derek White had a great game. You had Jalen Brown had a great game. And then Jalen Brown had such a good game, to the point where you got everybody now talking about Jalen Brown being the best player in his team, and that's fine. Um, and then we'll talk about game 2, and then we'll kind of get into the implications, right? But then, yeah, also though, game 1, Luka, he dropped 30 points. It didn't even feel like he dropped 30, but he dropped 30. And the Celtics, though, they had a big lead. They had a lead up to like 26 or 27 points, and then they end up winning high double digits. And it was like, wow. It was like, wow, like Dallas, they ain't get off the plane yet. Like they didn't warm up yet enough. They were not ready for that. So then game 2 happens, and I thought the game started at 8:30. It must have started at 8 o'clock. I tune in. It's halfway through the first quarter. Dallas is up. Boston could not hit a bucket. Like, they could not hit any 3-point shots, and they're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. In game 1, they hit like 9 more threes than Dallas. So, like, and they won by like 17. They won just under 20 points. And so, but they outscored them by threes by they had 9 more threes than them. And so game 2 is like they could not hit the broadside of a barn. They could not hit any 3-point shots. But Boston was still chipping away, grinding away, getting them, getting them, getting them. And then in game 2, we had Drew Holiday was the star, right? Derek White also played big minutes, right? Jason Tatum, he did not again, below his postseason average, but he had 11 assists. He was one rebound away from a triple double. So he was hooping out there. He was hooping out there. Who else was playing good? I mean, Jalen Brown played well, played well. Luca had another big game. And then Kyrie, though, first 2 games he's been kind of like, making some buckets here and there, getting some good shots, making some. He didn't make any threes, but making layups, driving to the hoop. But it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. He's not scoring at a high clip. And I like what so overall. So let's get out of that game. Overall, I really like what Boston is doing defensively. Boston is deciding that, like, hey, we're gonna play man-to-man defense. We're not gonna double on Luca, even though it's common and it's normal, like where teams are like blitzing Luca and they're trying to force these double teams. But Luca is such a playmaker that you just don't want to do that. Like you don't want to get these other guys like too involved, right? Because he thrives on that. Because now you got to worry because if they're involved and they're hot, right? These guys get hot. Now you got to worry about multiple people. But if anything, if you just worry about, you know, playing solid man-to-man defense with Luca and if he gets his, he gets his. If you kind of have that mentality and then you work on, playing sound defense against who you got to play sound defense against, then you're gonna beat this team. And that's what's happening right now. That's what's happening. Another thing, the lob threat, and this is what they talk. I talked about the lob threat. I told y'all that Gafford and Lively and just the way that they play with Kyrie and Luca, like and Kyrie is never like he's never had that level of lob threat where it's like part of it's literally a part of their offense in Dallas. And the lob threat is not there. The lob threat has not been there. They did have like a lob, and then like I remember the announcers talking about it. They're like, yeah, like this is something that the lob threat is something that has been helping them this whole playoffs. This whole playoff that shit killed the Timberwolves, right? That shit because you got guys that are not really that active. Like they don't know how to play help defense. They play bad defense on the weak side. Where I mean, where they're cheating up too much, like they're over pursuing. When you over pursue, you leave the weak side. The weak side lob is there, especially if you got the athletes, right? And you got playmakers like Kyrie and Luca, right? That's there all day. But the Celtics are playing such good defense and sound defense and playing discipline. They're playing very disciplined in a way that is not allowing these like I said, easy assists, easy buckets, right? They're playing really good defense, and I'm happy for them. Um, with Dallas, Gafford and Lively have not been a factor at all. Gafford, Lively have not been a factor. Kyrie is hardly a factor. I think the bigs. I think people were looking at the Mavericks and like, yeah, they're too big. Like they like who if Porzingis doesn't play, which I'm hearing that Porzingis might be hurt, like Porzingis might be out for game 3. So we'll kind of stay tuned to that. But people were thinking that Boston doesn't have enough bigs and they're gonna suffer. But no, like they're fighting through that. They're getting through it. And then, Porzingis has been a big rim protector. Like I knew, yeah, you're a 7-2 guy and you should be able to block some shots. But like no, like that's a strength of his game. So like yes, so like he's been blocking things, blocking dunks, blocking layups, and game 1 he had an amazing game, right? He had like 3 blocks in the first quarter. So they're balling out and again they're kind of exposing Dallas. One thing I said was that like it's not unless we get a 2-0 deficit, you're not gonna be able to tell who's a better team right away because Dallas was playing like a great team. They look like, wow, these parts that they have, they just mesh well together. They're a good team. They are not well, what we're seeing right now, they are not a better team than Boston by no stretch of the imagination. You had, Gafford and Lively might have just they were like overcompensating their ability, but like it's showing that like it's not really there for them. So Luca is definitely expecting Kyrie to step up, and he needs those big men to kind of step up and wake up and do some things. Derrick Jones Jr. Like, I think he's gonna do what he does, but like they just don't have you don't need stars, but you need guys that's gonna make like big plays, and like we're not really seeing that right now. One of the last things I want to say about the series is just the criticism of Jason Tatum, right? So thing is, Jason Tatum, a lot of people used to criticize his game, and they would say that he used to force stuff, right? Or like he was trying to do too much. Now, I think he's playing within the game. He's doing a really good job. So like he's getting the ball high post sometimes on the perimeter, and he's his first, he's driving to the lane. He's driving, but he's doing a lot of driving and kicking because they're collapsing on him. They're collapsing on him pretty quick. They're poking at the ball quite a bit, right? So game two, it felt like he just did not have like a full handle on things. Like they're really trying to apply extra pressure. But the old like Jason Tatum of like a couple years ago, the young Jason Tatum, he would have still like even when people were poking at the ball and trying to get to him and this and that, he would have probably took like some kind of crazy shot and kind of played outside of the offense. But no, Jason Tatum, what is he doing? He's going to the rack. Y'all all on him. Boom, I'm kicking it out. Oh, skip pass over here. I'm doing this. And it's leading to easy buckets, right? He had 11 assists in game two. So um yes, and my man Quell, he said this, but I also agree. But it's like y'all gotta stop. Basketball is not just about scoring. It doesn't matter. It don't even matter if he wins a Finals MVP. Like I hated that y'all did that to Curry, right? Y'all did that to Curry when he didn't win a Finals MVP right away. And the one year Iguodala won it. And y'all criticize Steph Curry and his greatness because he didn't win a Finals MVP. And it's like, yo, this is like we're talking about 7 games. 7 games, sure, it can help define your legacy in terms of like if you win as a team, it defines your team legacy. But like it doesn't change your career if you didn't get a Finals MVP. Like, and it don't even mean that you didn't have a good series. It just means that somebody, maybe a teammate, because maybe you're distributing to them or something, they just had a better series than you. So I hope Jason Tatum does not succumb to any pressure. He probably will have to step up his offensive production in Dallas. It's gonna be tough. It's like game three is not gonna be easy for Boston to win. I think Dallas is gonna come out with a lot of firepower and they're gonna be looking to make shots. And we'll see. We'll see. Again, I still got this. I'm not gonna lower it down. I'm still gonna give them a cushion. I still got the Celtics in six. And I like what they're doing. Hopefully, if Porzingis is out, if he did get hurt, if he is out, hopefully it's not too serious. But even if it is, I mean, Horford. I don't know their rotation enough to where like who's next in line and who's obviously it's Horford will be starting, but like who are they going to have as that big man, that's kind of going in who can offer rim protection, who's warm enough. Like, because again, if you weren't playing the whole playoffs, then you're probably not going to get in the game. Like, so I'm wondering what they'll do. Guys like Hauser will play a little bit more, Pritchard will play a little more, but we'll see, man. Because yeah, they're only rocking like a eight man rotation, so it's not many options that they got left. But what do you think? How you feel about the finals? Who you got? Who you got? And yeah, man, let's move on. Let's move on. One last sports topic, and then we'll wrap it up with just some words here. And yo, so all the talk. So they announced the Team USA for women's Team USA. And lo and behold, right? Lo and behold. What do you think? What do you think about the final? Oh, yeah, just comment. Just go back real quick. Comment what you think about the finals, how it's going. But anyway, so yeah, we got the announcement of Team USA, Women's Team USA, and lo and behold, Caitlin Clark was not on the roster. Caitlin Clark did not make she did not make Team USA. Now, there's a lot of conversations happening, but I'm gonna just say this: she did not deserve to be on Team USA. I don't even have to watch. To be honest with you, like let's stop playing, man. You don't even have to watch basketball to know that she did not deserve to be on Team USA. You don't have to watch back. You don't have to be an avid WNBA watcher to know that she did not deserve to be on Team USA. because to think that like there's not 12 girls, there's not 12 women that are better than Caitlin Clark, when women's basketball, in terms of like women being like, she didn't make women better. She didn't like, she didn't make women necessarily better. Like she's a good individual player, but it's not like good female basketball players have not been out there. Like we haven't been producing years and years of, women's college basketball has always been entertaining. I mean, it's something that a lot of people, what I mean, there are some household names when it comes to some of these women. I mean, are the marketing dollars there? No, for whatever reason. But it's like everybody's making this about like, oh, the growth of the game. Y'all say y'all want to grow the game, then why wouldn't you have Caitlin Clark out there? The Olympics have never helped grow the WNBA. So why is the Olympics going to help grow the WNBA now, right? If growing the WNBA is what they need, if that's what they're worried about, then just focus on the season, and that's what's going to grow the WNBA. A good regular season, into postseason, and Clark being able to rise above, all the fouls and all the whatever, everything, all the pressures, like her being able to rise above, that's what's gonna grow the WNBA. But her not making the Olympics, it does not. So again, if you put her on the roster, who do you take off the roster? Some people are automatically saying Diana Taurasi because she's played in multiple Olympics. Sometimes you need a player coach out there, right? Sometimes making an Olympic team is like a lifetime achievement, right? It's not always it might not even be what you're doing this particular season, because it's not even like they're playing a full season. Like they played a handful of games. They played maybe at the most 10 games or so, some of these teams. Uh so like it can't be based off of like that 10 games, you know what I mean? So it's based off legacy, it's based off previous stats. For again, it's like a lifetime achievement for some of these women. And like if you take one of these women off, you would have to have a better suggestion than it's gonna grow the WNBA. No, it has to be about playing. It has to be about players. It has to be about a lot of different things. It can't be about marketing, because the Olympics have never helped the WNBA grow. Never have. Is never have. All right. So yeah, no, I don't think she deserves it. I seen a cool video from Gino Ariema. Matter of fact, maybe we could bring that up real quick. Hold up. Let me, yeah, I might pull up one last video, and then we're gonna wrap this up. And just like, and this is if we're gonna listen to anybody, because there's a lot of people that's talking about college basketball, or there's a lot of people that's talking about women's basketball. But if we can trust anybody, we could trust this man. We could trust this man that I'm about to show you a video of. This is who we could trust. This is somebody that has authority. This is somebody that has authority on women's basketball. Unlike, like, I don't have authority on women's basketball, but I'm gonna listen to him. I'm gonna listen to this man talk about women's basketball, and he's gonna know what he's talking about more than all of y'all. So let's check this out. This is my man Gino Ariema, man, the greatest women's college basketball coach of all time. All right, he says, all right, so yeah, UConn, yeah, we know Gino Ariema, 11-time national champion, 7-time WBCA National Coach of the Year, 3-time Olympic gold medalist, 2-time FIBA gold medalist, 27 conference tournament champs, and 9-time AP Coach of the Year. So who the greatest, literally the greatest women's basketball coach of all time. He has this to say about Caitlin Clark and her not making the Olympic team.
College player, and you're a great college player like Caitlin was, the delusional fan base that follows her disrespected the WNBA players by saying she's going to go in that league and tear it apart. There were actually odds on what are like she's third or fourth in betting odds on being MVP at a WNBA. These people are so disrespectful and so unknowledgeable and so stupid that it gives women's basketball a bad name. Okay, so the kid was set up for failure right from the beginning. So if you're a WNBA player, and I believe me, I've coached the best.
Coach the best. Let's stop fronting on this man. And don't say he hasn't. He has 11 national titles.
And I've pissed them off a lot, and they let me know about it. But they were tremendously disrespected. And none of them are going to say it.
They're not gonna say it, because if they say that they were disrespected, then it's always comes back to them being bitter, and then they're hating on this rookie, which that's not the case. But let's keep going.
But human nature is, okay, this kid's coming into the league. And Diana said it best. This kid's in for a rude awakening. And they all jumped over her, but they didn't read the whole thing that she said. But nobody's printing. You know, Diana Taurasi was right. This kid's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie. I thought Cameron Brink said something really smart. She said, no, they're expecting this rookie class to be perfect. This rookie class isn't even one of the best rookie classes in the last 10 years.
This rookie class isn't even one of the best rookie classes in the past 10 years. You know why he would know that? Because he coached Breonna Stewart, right? Who is like other than Asia Wilson is probably, you know what I mean, Asia Wilson and her are probably the two best women in basketball, I mean, in the WNBA.
But they've been put out to be that because the way social media is today.
So yeah,
if you're a college,
so yeah, like what he's saying. So yeah, again, we could talk about marketing, right? And yes, that's part of the growth of this. Yes, because we do want to grow the game. And here's the thing: this is where, although all our eyes on women's basketball right now, women's basketball has been making strides, right? Whatever year it was that they got put into 2K, like what do you think had to happen for that to be the case, right? So it's been so the increment the progress has been incremental, right? The progress has been incremental. So sometimes you don't always see it step by step. You don't always get to see it right away. Like sometimes you'll miss some of the advancements. So like the WNBA and women's basketball has been growing. It has been growing because it was the fact. Think about again, that's a milestone moment, right? When they get put into 2K, right? And I talked about college basketball before. Like we've had stars over my lifetime. We've had huge female basketball stars, like huge, like can't like we're not gonna front like Diana Taurasi. We're not gonna front on Sue Bird. We're not gonna talk. We're not gonna act like Shamika Hostclaw wasn't it. We're not gonna act like Simone Augustus wasn't it. We're not gonna act like Sylvia Fowles and Tina Charles and Breonna Stewart now, and all the Candace Parker, Brittany Griner. We're not gonna act like these people did not. Tamika Catchings, like we're not gonna act like these women that weren't stars, that haven't always been stars. Skylar Diggins, like now you got Sabrina Ionesco, you got a lot, yeah, Asia Wilson, you got Aaliyah Boston, like you got stars, you got a lot of stars out there doing their thing, and for anybody that I did not name, I'm sorry, you know what I'm saying, but like they've been doing it, right? So like we're putting this rookie class, the reason why it's a good rookie class is because they have a handle on social media. Like they became social media darlings while they were in college, and like that's going to help the game grow from that aspect of it, right? But in terms of the actual talent, no, like I'm gonna listen to GNRM. No, it's not the best class ever. It's not the best class in the last 10 years. No, there's been a lot of other great draft classes. But again, I'm gonna listen to the expert and what he has to say. And yeah, she didn't deserve to be in the Olympics. I don't care what marketing is. And yeah, give the girl needs a break. She needs a break. She needs some time to get her stuff right. And then yeah, let her have a chip on her shoulder. Maybe she'll, it'll help grow the league because she's gonna be dominating, right? So, and again, if we want to talk about the Olympics, all these women, like the best players in the WNBA, they play globally already. They play outside of the United States, and they make more money outside of the United States. So it's just playing internationally, just doing that alone, that's not going to grow the game either, right? So Olympic basketball has nothing to do with the, because people don't even, depending on where it's at, right? It's in Paris, so like obviously the time is going to be off. People don't even know what time these games and stuff like that come on, right? And especially if it's not even our time. Like it's not like the back in the day, man. Like people aren't glued to their screens watching the Olympics no more, right? We have all these different streaming. There's like 30 networks that you can watch the Olympics on now, and it's hard to kind of track it, and some people don't even have access to all the channels, so it's like it's not the same as it used to be. So yes, it probably gets great ratings to an extent, but it's not no, it's not the growth. It's not something that's going to grow the league like y'all are assuming it will, because it never has, and it's harder because not as many people are watching Olympics as they used to watch it. But that's that on that, man. That's that on that. One last thing before we go. What you think about that? Do you think that Caitlin Clark? Do you before we get to the last thing? Do you think that Caitlin Clark deserves to be on the Olympic team? And tell me why. Like, tell me really why. Like a bas. And can you give me, other than marketing? Can you give me a basketball reason for why she deserves to be on the team? If you could do that, then we won't gotta talk about this no more. But all right. One last thing, and I seen this. I'm actually a little bit late on it, but I had to follow up on something. So, remember it was maybe towards the end of 2023, right? We was talking about Ebony K. Williams, and actually I talked about her a couple different times because she was talking about um it was the whole bus driver thing. It was the whole thing where she wouldn't want to date somebody that's a bus driver. He got to own the bus, right? And she got killed for that. And then she started talking about she was trying to urge women to, like, yo, if basically having women prepare for the possibility of being single moms on purpose, right? Like, so basically find and they had suggesting that women find um black sperm. I mean, sperm from black donators, right? And because black women want black kids. And so she's having that conversation, and she's kind of advocating for this. Well, what do you know? What do you know? Ebony K. Williams is pregnant, and she's not connected to anybody. She talked about how she got 2 vials of black sperm, right? And it was so weird when she was talking about that, because she kept saying the word black sperm, 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 and it was like, it was kind of weird. So no, she acquired the samples that she needed, right? And yeah, apparently she went through with it. She went through with it. So like she's about to be a single mom, an intentional single mother. And it's funny because they started killing her. They started really killing her for that. And the thing is, I can't kill her for it, because we knew that's what she was gonna, like, she said that's what she's gonna do. She said that she was gonna do that. Like, that was a part of her plan. Uh So I can't, and it was funny because I seen this one YouTube video. It's called like Pink Lessons or something like that, and they was like giving a commentary on it, and it was like, oh, she don't even know, it could be a white man sperm, or it could be a junkie or things like that, and it's like, like, granted, do we fully know? No, but I think there would be a liability if you lied about that type of stuff, and somebody had a kid, and like certain genetic markers didn't match up. But like they vet those things out, and like you get to pick. Like, that's the thing when you're doing IVF and you're doing insemination and stuff like that. Like, you get to pick a lot of you got a lot more options as to what you want because they'll start to do things, to the specimens and so they can kind of ensure you to kind of it's literally like a lab, it's almost like a lab created baby, so to speak. So so if anybody's thinking like, oh, it could be anybody's stuff, like I think she already talked about doing the vetting of it, and I think she's pretty satisfied with whatever she got. It's wild. It's wild that it kind of came to fruition. It kind of shows that she's kind of throwing in the towel and she's just thinking like, yeah, I can't. I mean, she's 40 years old. She's 40 years old and she's probably thinking like, I'm not gonna be with nobody. You know what I mean? So that's it for me. That's it. That's it. You know what I mean? I gotta move on and I gotta live my best life. And but I wanted to know your thoughts. I wanted to know your thoughts. But what I would say is this: I was like, yeah, I don't think we could kill her because she kind of laid the blueprint out for us. We already knew that she was going to do it. So for her to do it, it's not that big a surprise. But I just wanted to chime in on that. Oh, that's what I forgot. I knew I was forgetting the topic. No, no, no. Before we go, Bad Boys 4 drops. Now I haven't seen it yet, so I don't have any recap. So you don't gotta worry about any spoilers right now. But Bad Boys 4 has dropped, right? Bad Boys 4 opening weekend, $104 million in the box office. So, round of applause, right? Think about action comedies don't that's not even a genre anymore. Like the action comedy don't even really exist. Not the way it used to exist in the 90s, right? So and then you got two black leads, right? In the cast, right? So shout out to them, right? So they outperformed their budget, right? It's $100 million budget. They went 104 in the opening weekend. So that means that anything that they earn after the first weekend is gravy. It's icing on the cake, right? And we know that's gonna do good. Couple things I want to say. Couple things I want to say. Will Smith is still the box office king. Let's not forget, he's still the box office king. We're gonna talk about why. Yeah, he's still the box office king. It don't matter. We know what he's done. We know his lifestyle in terms of like his wife and all that, vitriol and nonsense. And we still love him. We still love like fans across the country love Will Smith and they're going out to support him because he's the box office king. Will Smith is dope, right? Will Smith, I don't think he's fully one with the people, but like he does do things that make you love him, man. So did y'all see that video where he was spotted at a Cinemark in LA? So a movie theater in LA. And what he does, he says a tradition, like some of his bigger movies, he goes to the theater and he kind of hides himself, now we got mass COVID types, that exists. So where's that? And then when he walks out the theater, he's just regular. He's like, "Oh, yo, I'm glad y'all like that." I was laughing, and then all these people are just like shocked. So like, I would lose my shit if I went to the movie theater, just enjoy my movie, and then I saw Will Smith. Will Smith is like one of the biggest actors of my lifetime. I mean, he's one of the biggest actors ever. I'd have been ecstatic with that. And then yeah, I need people to let go of the slap. I need people to stop talking about the slap. Y'all realize that happened 2 full years ago. 2 full years ago. That happened in March of 2022. March of 2022. And it makes me realize, like, I was like, damn, like that happened that long ago. So yeah, so that happened 2 full years ago. So I mean, one thing, he's the box office king. It tells us that we didn't give a fuck about the slap. The slap did not affect us as fans. We might have had an opinion about it, and some people might not even agreed with it, and that's fine, right? You don't have to agree with him, you know, beating up Chris Rock at an award show. You don't have to agree with that. However, however, um, it did nothing to deter us from liking the stuff that he creates and liking his art and like, what I mean, it did nothing to deter us as fans from that. So shout out to them. And so it tells us that we didn't give two fucks, and it tells us that everybody really does hate Chris, right? And Stephen A. Smith, man, don't tell Will Smith that he needs to apologize. Like, don't tell Will Smith to talk about it no more, bro. You need to get over it. He's gotten over it. Chris Rock has gotten over it, right? Let it go. It happened. It happened. Maybe they'll never work together again. Maybe they'll never be friends again, but who cares? I don't care. Because one thing I know is that if Chris Rock dropped a blockbuster, if Chris Rock can't even get a part of like no big blockbuster movie like that, but even if he did, you know who's not rushing out there to go see a Chris Rock movie? Me. I mean, you all, and almost everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So like, no, like let it go, man. Let it go. It happened. It is what it is. But what do y'all think about this week's show? Now we can talk about what we talked about. We talked about Will Smith real quick. Talked about the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, and her Olympic snub. She was not snubbed. I don't care what y'all say. NBA Finals, light skin hate, white people ask black people wild questions, and then that Wonder Bread challenge, man. So yeah. This is another episode. This is episode 152 of the 280 Plus podcast. I'm your host, Los Def, and tune in next week for another episode. I'm out, y'all.